Okay, we're
Thank
recording
you.
now. Yes, I can see you loud and clear. So, just for recording purposes, it's been about a month since I've checked in with Renal, guys. So, generally, it does take about a month for the skin to really adjust to the products. And we talked about, I think it was good on our last video, Renal, that I got to sort of, I guess, really to see more of what's going on in terms of like
Mhm.
symptoms, and we did talk about that Renal mightn't have necessarily demotics, but the thing is the products will still help him with anything that's because it's so aggressive what's been happening with you, Renal. So I know when we last touched base you had some other stuff going on which sounded horrible.
Right, right, right. And so that's when we had talked about those. What was the word that I used? Environmental
Yes, environmental,
issues,
totally.
right? Environmental control and everything.
Yeah,
So a lot has happened since then,
yeah,
and again, trying to control my environment, getting into the
yeah,
place where I could be in a space to actually worry about me or being concerned about the treatment
of
and really
course.
helping it be a success
Yeah,
at hand. So since then, I've continued to use the product.
yeah,
However, like I shared with you before, I was
yeah.
in the process of traveling to Dallas.
Yep, I remember
So,
that. It was
right. So got
terrible.
yes. Oh my God, it was really crazy. So got down to
Yeah,
Dallas, and I don't mind. As I say, I'm always transparent. Um,
yeah.
got got down to Dallas, and a friend of mine's. I was actually there for a week, and then I was actually coming back home to Louisiana.
Mm,
And so before I checked out of my hotel room, my best friend here in Louisiana asked if I could take one of a mutual friend of ours to an appointment that she had. And
yep.
I agreed to it. I said, after I check out, I can go stop by and pick her up and everything. And
Yeah.
so when I got to her house, before she got in, I said, I just want to let you know that I'm dealing with a situation with
Mm,
something is coming off of my body and
yeah, of
everything.
course. Yeah.
And so she says, "Oh, I understand." And she said, "Well, I've been going through similar symptoms
Mm,
or similar things that you're going through for the
yeah.
past 3 years." So she and I began to talk and talk about our symptoms and everything. And it was actually she lost her hair and
Mm,
she was feeling things crawling on her. So I
mm,
told her about Unjex and I
yeah. Well,
told her about you and everything, and
yeah.
she was so excited. I said, well, she said, well, how much is everything? I said, well, it's roughly about $500 to $600 US
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
And she said, well, that's really expensive for me. I said, well, let me do this. I said,
Yeah.
let me see what I can do,
Of
you know.
course. Yeah. I got my contacts. I got my
Yeah,
whisperer. Yeah.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
being nice and I said, well, let me, check in with them and,
Yeah.
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
My plan was to give her three of the bottles of my treatment that I hadn't, opened yet, so she could at least start
Oh,
with,
of
and then,
course.
yeah,
Helping
and
her
then communicate,
out.
right, and then
Yeah.
communicate with you guys.
Yeah.
So we had that conversation. So it just so happened that I was my dermatologist is in Dallas also. So I called his office or what have you, and it was like, "Oh, you're here in Dallas, so we can
Mm,
get you in for a 1:30 appointment to do the
yeah.
biopsy and everything." So
Right.
that went well.
Yeah.
She stayed in the car. I went
Mm,
upstairs to do the biopsy. About 30 minutes later, came back down to the car, and everything was fine. Long story short, guys and Emma,
mm,
um, later on that night, after I had dropped her off at home and everything, later on that night, I began to have an episode. So when I say an episode, that means
coming
there's
out.
there's
Yeah.
aggressively coming out off my body. And
Yeah.
so again, from the last recording, I shared that my technique is that I get in my car, let down the windows, and just start driving down the highway. Just full
Yeah.
force.
Yeah.
So as I was doing that, I reached behind me to get the
Get your
PDT.
products.
Yeah, to squirt or what have you. And so the bottle was empty. I said, okay. Mind you, I only used 3 bottles now.
Yeah.
3 bottles out of the total amount that you all
Oh,
sent
yeah,
me. So
exactly.
I reached back for another bottle. It was
Oh,
gone. Reached
no.
back for reached for a third bottle, and it was gone. And I said, I know this didn't sit
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I know that was
So
terrible. That's absolutely
yeah.
horrible.
So needless to say, she took all the product from me, and so it was one of those moments where I don't know if you know who Nicolas Cage is,
Oh my God,
but
I love Nick Cage. He's so
yeah.
crazy.
So in one of his movies, in the movie where he was playing the one with John Travolta, and he would laugh and then cry, laugh and cry, and laugh and
Oh,
then go
yeah,
crazy.
one of his, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
did
that's
one of those.
you were
I
Nick
did one of those
Cage.
numbers. Right. I did. I did one of those numbers. I said, "Oh!" I started laughing. Then I
Yeah.
was like crying, and then I said, "I can't believe." Yeah, I can't believe she
Yeah.
did this. So I
Really
just went
sorry to hear
hysterical.
that, Mel. That was horrible.
Yeah.
I just felt for you so much, and I can't believe people out there. You were more than happy to give her products too. That's what I find
Yes.
ridiculous. And yeah,
So, so, so with that incident happening and other things with, some of my friendships with other people and they doing me wrong, it was just like,
yeah,
I just
the
was just,
compound.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
just crazy. So let me fast forward real quick. So I'm going
yeah,
to fast forward
yeah, of course.
to about a week and a half ago. I got the results from my dermatologist from the
Okay.
biopsy. I
Yep.
did record that. So what I'll do is,
Oh yes, I
um,
remember that, Reynold, when you had it.
yeah,
Yes.
right. So I'm going to send, just let me put a pause right there. So I'm going to send
Yep.
you some videos or what have you that you can look through because I
Awesome.
kind of did like a diary type thing. And
Beautiful.
then and then he and I did a teleconference
Yep.
for my results. So I recorded that as well. So I'm going to give that to
Oh, that'd be
you.
so great, Reynold.
Yeah.
And we can edit this part out and show that.
Yes.
That's really
Yes.
great. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
absolutely.
Brilliant.
So, needless to say, he said that he did not come up with anything. There was nothing that he saw from the
Right.
skin part. So, I told him, well, I'm still experiencing what I'm experiencing. My roommate
Exactly.
actually got on video with him and was explaining how he felt and his symptoms that he was feeling as a result of being around me. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
he just kept on saying, well, you can't see it, you can't see it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I can see it. I can see different things, going
Yeah.
on and stuff. But he just kept on saying that there's nothing wrong with me.
That's what I find
So,
really interesting too, Reynold. Sorry to interrupt. Is that
yeah,
like you could actually physically see it as well, and the fact you had proof there. And it just
yeah,
goes back to, and I think that's what I find all the time is that I really believe dermatologists, they just put up this like invisible shield to say, no, you don't have stuff on your skin because it's just so hard to treat. And it's just really disheartening because, you pay money
yeah,
to go see these specialists to go.
absolutely.
And just because, I think the hardest part, especially about skin mites, with dermotic mites, because Randall, I do think, we've talked about it. Yours is environment based as well as possibly these demotics, is that because we can't see something physically to the naked eye doesn't mean it's not real. You know what I mean? It's there
Exactly.
because they're microscopic as well.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
that's
I
interesting
mean,
you
it's
didn't
like,
come back with anything too under you.
yeah. Yeah, and I told them I wanted to be sarcastic and say, like, okay, you breathe air, but you don't know it's there, but you don't see it. Like,
Exactly.
duh,
Such a good analogy. Such a good
you know.
analogy.
So, and
Um,
the ironic thing about that is, prior to going into the office for the biopsy,
yeah.
I was experiencing a minor outbreak.
Yeah, I remember you
I
said that.
I get into his office and Nothing happens. I told him about the UV light, which I
Mm,
talk about in my video as well, which I don't encourage people to use a UV light because it can be harmful to your
very
skin.
true. Yeah.
However, I chose to do it for my treatment.
Of
You don't
course.
have to do it and don't do it, but I
Yeah.
chose to do it, you
Yeah.
know.
Totally.
So yeah, and he totally ignored that. And so when he took the biopsy and everything, and soon as I stepped outside of his office and went to the elevator, I started to have another outbreak. And
Mm,
so at that point, I was over it. And I was like, I'm not going to go back in
yeah.
there. But what dawned on me is that every time I go to a hospital emergency room or to his office, it seems to stop. And I said, it probably has something to do with the lighting that's in the hospitals and in doctor's office because I didn't know that there was special UV germicidal lights that, that doctors
Yeah.
have or what have you,
Yeah.
and that's why they feel so comfortable with people coming in with germs and,
Totally.
pesticide, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it dawned on me that that's why I probably don't have an outbreak inside the
In that
hospitals
exact.
or
Yeah. And that's
exactly.
really interesting. I remember we discussed about that. And look, when that UV exposure, they just don't like it. So that makes sense that they'd hang out under a hair follicle and nothing's present. So,
Light
yeah.
bulb, like hello, duh.
That was so
Right?
yeah. No,
Like
I
right.
actually, yeah, when you said that, Randall, I was like, actually, it doesn't sound so silly.
It
Um,
doesn't. It doesn't.
um,
So
oh,
I told them, I said, well, is it possible? And this is what I'm working on actually right now. I have to go back to Dallas
yeah.
this week. Oh, and plus we have 5 inches of snow last night.
Oh my goodness, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that like
yeah. So
really someone else I spoke to in Texas? Well, that's close.
yeah,
Yeah. They're
yeah.
like it's like the coldest day of the year, and you guys have like so much snow.
So much snow. So I'm jealous that you went swimming, and I'm
I'm
like
actually, I'm jealous that you
building a snowman.
But I was going to say, has your sensations now? Have you moved, Rendell? I know we're talking about getting into a
Well,
different environment and stuff for you.
yeah, and so I'm going to get to that, right?
Yes.
I'm going to get to that, and so another long story short, so after he, told me about, he didn't find anything. So the next phase that I'm doing now, and like I said, I'm going to Dallas this week. I
Yep.
spoke with my specialty physician as far as my immune system is concerned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I asked her, is there a possibility that parasites can be in someone's bloodstream? And she said that there is a possibility, and that normally when I do labs with her, she
Yep.
checks for that anyway.
Okay. All right.
Right. However, it's been about a good 7, maybe 8 months since I did labs with her anyway.
Yeah.
So it could,
Yeah.
it could be that when I was experiencing what I was in June up until now, I hadn't done any labs with her.
Yeah. Okay. And that's
So the
another.
plan,
I was going to say, sorry, Rendell, while you're talking,
no.
I tap into the mite sensors. I was going to say that's another part of the puzzle, which another piece of this, digging away at what exactly we're dealing with for you. That's really interesting. Sorry, continue.
Exactly. Right. So actually from the past, so that's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to go to Dallas. We're going to do
That,
labs, and
yeah,
she's going to check for that as well.
of
Now,
course.
I must say that I did still have a little bit of product left from
Yep.
me losing the product.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, up
I
until
believe
now.
that. I just want to say Rennell is like the loveliest person I've ever known. So like
Thank
hands
you.
down, without having met through he's what he's going through, And to have that happen to you, Randall, I just was like, no.
Exactly.
You give so much to people, and I think plus the fact you were doing her a favor. Anyway, I won't. I'm sure. Yeah, it just. I just get so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So move on from
So
that.
yeah. So the little bit of product that I had left up until now, even incorporating like the coconut oil soap, the bar soap, right? With the incorporation of that, I must report that what I've been experiencing then up until now has drastically reduced itself. Like literally, I can sleep at night. Let me just say that. I can peacefully sleep at night without applying any product on me. So I do want to, yes, I do want to share that with you that my outbreaks have been maybe, say before it was 100%.
Yep.
Now it's probably 45%.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yes. I do tend to have, and this goes into the whole if something is in my bloodstream, because I tend to, like earlier today, have headaches and a toothache, but my toothache comes from some type of little bulbs or dots are coming out of the roof of my yeah, and when that starts to hatch, it gets inside my tooth, and it aches, and then my head hurts right here on this side.
Up the side of your head.
And I can't see out of this eye. Like I have great vision. Yeah, so my whole left side tends to just throb.
Paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, that's good in a sense that I went from having all these outbreaks and everything as far as in my environment to now dealing with that.
Wow, Fennel, that's such a interesting turn of events.
Yeah. And speaking of my environment, I got into this mood, and I want this to be an eye opener for people who are experiencing what I'm experiencing. Like right now, my environment is contained, so nothing is flying around, nothing is attacking me, and I'm actually in the process of painting. I took all this stripping off right here.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to paint my room. Yeah, and I felt like mentally, I said, I need a project. I need something that I can start and complete. And so because of my success with the product and my containing my environment, I said, well, let me start to paint my room. So that's what I'm doing now right here.
Great, Randall. I'm really happy for you. Because I know the last time we spoke, and look, it was really important for you, which I totally understand, moving from that where you were, but it sounds like you've really controlling. I think the big difference between you and I guess when we deal directly with people with demotics is that yours is more environmental, so your progress is happening quite quickly because your skin's so good, Rennell, I think that's the big difference, that with demotics that, you would have a lot more skin issues, which I think it's still so great to show people this, because no two people are the same when it comes to skin mites. Like any type of thing that loves the skin. There's like 65 different types. So I'm just so happy for you, Rennell. I know.
I am.
Yeah, I am just like, and you've been through a lot too, and you just seem just a bit free, a lot more free. If that's a word to describe it, I don't.
I mean, yes. And I've had my days, and I must admit, and again, I keep saying I'm transparent. I've had my days to where I just wanted to completely shut down everything as far as life is concerned. And so, you're going to have these, you're going to feel like that. I mean, that's quite naturally when you're dealing with something that's, coming out of your body and stuff. You're going to have those days. However, it's how we overcome. And I used to say this back in the day as a motivational speaker. I used to say that we're world overcomers. So let's overcome this world together. And I think
So
that's really,
true.
really important.
Yeah.
Um, just me doing this project here, on doing my room,
Yeah.
it makes me feel great, and it gave me the motivation that things are progressing with the
Yeah.
medication or with the treatment and everything.
Treatment.
Therefore,
Yeah.
let me do something that I can see change.
Totally.
So,
And I think I mean, look, to put it, everyone I talk to too, Reynolds, I'm sure you can agree, is that there is, in a way, some universal silver lining to all this, is that it makes you go, okay, let's go deeper. And, even you said do the labs and your blood stuff, there could be something else going on as well.
yeah,
Um, which is just,
yeah,
getting, it does bring up, I think skin mites and mites in general can bring up all those other underlying issues. So in a way, they're like these horrible demons, but then you can, there's something always, not always, but there's something, well, I believe it, something always good comes out of a bad situation. You know what I mean?
right. You have the angel right here and the devil
Yeah.
right here. It's like,
Yeah.
and they keep going
Yeah.
back and forth and stuff. It's
Exactly.
just which one is going to prevail? Is it going to be the enemy or is it
Exactly.
going to be the angel?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But Rennell, I'm so glad you like, especially because you had so much something aggressive attacking you. That
Hmm.
I am so happy for you. And look, you know,
Thank you.
you're controlling your environment, which I think,
Yeah.
especially I guess for people out there, when it comes to commodities, the environment is not so much the issue, but in terms of your story, Rennell, yours was very much the environment, I think,
Yes.
massively.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was gonna
Yes.
ask too, how's your housemates? Are they still, have you been doing like other stuff in the house, or are they feeling anything, or it's all pretty,
Well, so what has happened in that time frame of when I went down to Dallas up
yeah,
until now, I've actually been home for about a week and a half now.
okay, yeah.
So I kind of stayed away,
Yeah, of
just to
course.
let the
Yeah,
house air out,
yeah, got ya. Totally.
and everything. So
Yeah,
when I came back, I actually, and this was my treatment process in terms of controlling my environment. I
yeah,
left all my clothes in bags outside because it was already
okay.
cold, you
Yes,
know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it so happened last night it snowed, so it's like they gave it an
yes.
extra,
Oh my,
you know,
the extra freeze up.
exactly, you know.
Yeah,
So most of my clothes are outside in bags and everything, just to give that that freeze, that really good
yeah,
freeze off and everything. So
yeah.
um,
That's
I'm
great,
bag
Rennell.
yeah, bag by bag. I'm like bringing one bag in, washing the clothes, and drying it and
Yeah.
everything, and then
You've got the
doing it that
UV.
way.
Yeah, and you've got
Right.
your light too. So that's, I was going to say that, that'll totally get them off those surfaces. Whatever is the Rennell bug that loves you. But I think like, I think the products have really helped sort of move you
No,
forward, eliminate it.
right.
Yeah.
And to be honest, with the product and the communication with you and the motivation and everything and
Yeah,
doing these exchanges that we're doing now has
totally.
really completely became its own package in my treatment and healing
Yeah.
process,
Yeah,
which is
totally,
great.
Rennell. And I
Which
think,
is great.
yeah, and I think like we haven't, it's, it generally does take a month, because if we were checking in like every 2 days, there wouldn't be a major shift. But for you,
Hmm.
I even know like in the first 4 days, you were already feeling it. So that is definitely more, it just says to us that, okay, it is more environmental. Reynolds' skin is amazing, so he can tolerate it. It's just they were
Right.
driving you insane, which I
Yes.
totally understand. And look, as we go on, Reynolds, the products, because you probably don't need to cleanse as much and all that stuff because your skin is really good. I was going to say, plus the thing too, you guys are in winter, so anything is very dormant in winter, like mosquitoes, bugs, all those nasty parasites. It will be interesting to see, like, not that I totally nowhere near what want you back to where you were when we first spoke, but it will be interesting to see what happens when you guys are coming into summer, especially with the environment in the house. You know what I mean? Just the moisture, or but that's something, I wish I could see into the future.
Yeah. Well, and not to cut you off, that's actually because I think forward a lot. And so that's part of my investigative treatment. Yeah, the process and everything. So I do have a plan. Absolutely.
I've got a plan of attack.
Absolutely. Because everything that I'm going through, again, like I shared before, I want to share with you all and share with, the world who utilizes this product that, this could happen. I want to be the test dummy.
Totally. Totally. And I think, the thing that's, I think the thing that's really helped you throughout the mystery process is that you have such a positive outlook, and you because I know a lot of people, and as you said, you've been through it. It can really affect you physically, mentally, but you would. I think for people that come to us, and it's an investment in the products, and they have unrealistic expectations because it doesn't go away overnight. But in saying that, for your story, Reynolds, it's happening really quickly, which is amazing. So for other people, they think, oh, I'm going to feel better in a week, and they go, oh, and then I ask them, oh, did you use it every night like we said? And they're like, oh, no. I'm like, well, And so I think, Reynolds, you wanted this to work. You made it work. You're making it work. You're realizing that it is more environmental, and you're already like one step ahead of them. It's like playing chess, always playing checkmate especially when you don't know exactly what you're dealing with. And I think the dermatologist, that when it comes to,
For me, that's for me.
No, seriously, I think you just did that for everyone suffering with mine. I think they can totally agree on that was perfection. And look, there's some great GPs out there, but I think when it comes to skin mites, they just at the end of the day, when it comes to GPs, dermatologists, you just want someone to fucking listen to you.
Hello.
That's your job. Why are you in this job if you're not listening to me so you can help me?
And everybody doesn't take drugs that have mites.
Exactly, right? That's what.
Hello.
Yeah, I know. People just assume. They always see people and just assume. You're like, you don't even know me at all. Do you want to be in my body? Because I'm dealing with this on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Exactly. What's that? Being John Malkovich? Do you want to be Reynolds Ratchford? Because I'm the fucking boss of me, and boom.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited.
Great. Yeah, I'm so glad at your progress and where you're at now. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's such good news. I was going to say, Reynolds, so did you get our products? I didn't even message you. I just was like, send Reynolds more products from Amazon. Have you received more?
So here's what happened, and I forgot that I said I was going to share that with you.
That's okay.
So what's interesting, the first time you guys sent me the product, right?
Yeah.
Was through UPS. It was the
Right.
same.
Yes. Yep.
It was through
So that's your
UPS.
querying. Yeah, it must change over, obviously, to
Yes.
you. Yeah.
It made it here successfully, of course.
Yeah.
This time, what happened with UPS, I shouldn't even shout them out like that. This time, what happened to the shipper?
Right.
Not the shipper meaning unjects, but the shipper
No, the should
through the
be.
process.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's usually where it falls apart, I think.
yeah. So I have a UPS account, and so in my account when I used to live in Dallas, I used to have my shipments dropped off at the local CVS.
Mm-hmm.
So I would never miss any packages, like if they tried to deliver it to my house or what have you.
Yeah.
So apparently that was still in there, but I updated my address to the Louisiana.
Right.
So they shipped the second shipment to. They saw this CVS. Oh, he has everything going to CVS. Well, they shipped it to the CVS. Didn't tell me about it, and I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, so you have so many days to pick it up at the CVS until they send it back to whoever shipped it to us, which is you guys. So yeah, it's been crazy. So I have to, yeah. So since then, I canceled that out, that CVS portion out, because I told the lady, I said, why? I said, why would you, if the sender sent it to the Louisiana address and my address is updated in the system, why would you all send it to Dallas when I'm no longer in Dallas? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, they're
like,
so useless. I think globally, postal services are just, what are they hire? Monkeys?
They're high off of COVID. That's what it is.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I mean, are the products in your hands now, Reynold, or are they in transit somewhere?
They're in transit back to
Amazon, probably.
Amazon, yeah.
Oh,
which I probably, yeah, and I have an Amazon account too. So I probably need to call them and just see what they can do, you know.
I was going to say, I'll tell Alex, she's the cheeky babe that organizes it all. See what we can do from our end. I don't know if we can. Oh, that's so shit, Reynold, but
yeah,
also not shit because you're feeling so much better, but we still want to get you the products, you know.
Absolutely.
Because that will keep you protected for anything that's potentially going to come back. We don't know yet, and it will always keep you protected, especially the PDT, Reynold. I think I had a chat with Alex. She's sort of my guru. She said because he's more environmental, you'll be needing PDT more than anything. So we always make sure. That's so annoying.
I know it's like aggravating, and that was part of like where I thought everything was just going wrong. You know,
I bet. Oh,
like,
well, look, yeah.
The first time you guys sent it, it was like it made it to me here in Louisiana.
And then you got them stolen.
And then they said that, and then you guys send it again, and it ships to Dallas. Like, who does that?
I was gonna say, Reynold, what's I was gonna say, let me just check what we've got. It was because I see, okay, because you had an account and they had a fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
she said it was their fault.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, she said it was their fault.
Well, at least they admitted to that. Oh my goodness.
You know, that's why I didn't lay into them too much, because they did say they messed up. So.
Okay. I'll see if we can do anything from our end, Reynold. We might be able to. I think we've actually got another bundle sitting in the warehouse. So that might be actually quicker. And I'll make a note, send to your address, like your, like where you are. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'll let you know, lovely. I will get back to you on Skype.
Okay,
Um,
sweet.
or email you. But Randall, I'm so happy with your progress so far. And it's only been a month.
Yes, yes.
Like probably just over a month.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
look, I
about
was gonna
a month and a half. About yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say what we'll do. We'll definitely, keep going because you don't know what could happen in the next.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the next, the general time frame we do give for demotics, and everyone's completely different. It's 3 to 4 months, so we'll still totally track your process.
Especially with summertime coming up too.
Exactly,
We have to track that as well.
exactly. Yeah, but I was gonna say, it'd be interesting to see. I think it's really good to, as we said, you're uncovering more stuff as well.
Hmm.
Anything, because I do know. Look, I'm not a doctor by any means, but there are internal parasites and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what your GP with your labs and stuff.
Right.
Potentially, you don't know. I know Lyme disease and stuff like that. There's ticks and there's like so many horrible bugs that cause
Malaria. That's what I was.
Yeah.
I was scared when I read up on that. I was like, people have died from malaria. So I was like, oh my God, no, I don't want to die yet. You
No
know.
way. You've got a long life to live.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I was kind of shaken by that, but it's good to know. It's it's just good to know now. I mean, at least I'm taking
course.
the precaution or not precautions, but
Yeah.
the progress in
Yeah.
identifying what it is that's going on with me. So
Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm just so happy all that those aggressiveness was just going on for some time, and it's
yes,
to
it's really crazy.
upholds, and especially using a product, so that's all these signs are like it's working. It's working for you.
Exactly,
But I was gonna
exactly.
say, Rena, we might do another check-in. We won't, probably actually maybe in the next 3 weeks again we'll do a check-in.
Yeah,
Does that
because
work
let's.
for you?
Yeah, that works. And so just to let you know the time frame that I think that we're dealing with. So
Yeah.
I'll be taking the labs either Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
The results probably won't come back in until next week
Week.
on a
Yep.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
So I can get the results. I'll do what I did
Yeah.
the dermatology thing. I'll record it
Yeah,
just
that'd
so
be
we can
great.
have, and
Yeah.
then maybe that following week we can check in with each other and
Yeah, that
stuff.
sounds great. I was gonna say, um, maybe when you get your labs back, Reynolds, you could send me. I'll put this on the email now because I'm forgetful. Um, so we'll do your lab thing and then the video that you got from the derm, so we can
Okay.
edit it in the video, and it's gonna be like the Reynolds the movie. No, I think what we'll do, because we've had so many, like Facebook doesn't do. You know how Instagram does, like you can do like a live feed with a split screen. Facebook, you can't do
Right.
Zoom and stuff, and it was just too hard. Like even with the new girl, we were trying to do like a little chat session and stuff,
Right. Right.
and it's just gonna be too hard for people to join the room. So we're gonna edit it all.
Hold on,
It's
hold on, Emma.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
here. I'm sorry, Emma.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say I
Huh?
probably have to go.
Yeah. Let me do it. I'm on a conference call with Australia right quick. I'll turn it off.
I was gonna say, lovely, I'll have to go as well, but we'll edit
Okay.
it before Reynolds. Do you have something
Okay.
quickly? Yeah.
Okay. Let me say this one thing, and hopefully, when you edit, you can actually put this in as well.
Of course.
I do want to share. Although I'm transparent, I think that there's a level of I don't want to share too much, about me personally, but I will say that if only you know, just like I know, that there are other things that we might be dealing with, that I think that we have to be honest with ourselves,
Totally.
and whether I may not be, um, where I may not want to share with, you or the world or whatever the
Of
case may be.
course.
Only we know what we're dealing with and what we're going through. And I want to say that if there's something that you need to modify personally that you're dealing with, as I had been, that's part of my success for the past 2 weeks. That I was addressing something else that I care not to share, but I
Yeah, of
addressed
course.
something else,
Something.
and
Yep.
I was real with myself. So I want people who see this that if you're dealing with something internally and you don't want to share, be honest with yourself, just as I was with myself. And
Mm.
it actually helped with my progression and my success. So I just want people to realize, and I want people to really think about what it is that they're doing or whatever they're involved in, and be honest with yourself, just as I was honest with myself. And that contributed to the success of my treatment process. Okay?
Thank you so much, Reynold. That's really amazing. Imparting that. I think that's
Yes,
really poignant. And thank you so much. I totally know where you're
absolutely.
coming from. So,
All right.
all
I
right.
love you,
Mwah.
Emma.
I
All right.
love you, Reynold.
All right. Take
Soon. I'll send
care.
you an email, just those little things, so we can
Okay,
get
great. Tell,
this winning an
tell
Oscar.
everybody. Yes, tell
Look, I'm
everybody over.
holding the Oscars.
I know. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tell everybody. So, all my family at Unjex, I said hello.
Yeah,
And,
lovely.
I love them. And thank you so much for my treatment process as
I'm
well.
just so happy because I was really, I was really worried the last time we spoke, and I was like, what? I was like, no, it just made me so upset. So I'm so happy that you're in such a better place now. So it makes
Yes.
big
All
love.
right. Love you.
Bye, Rena.
Take care. Bye bye.
Sending you some
Okay.
peach.
Okay. Yes. Bye.